Welcome to another episode of Caps and Cards. I'm your host, Spidey, and I am joined today by
DJ North Shore Fitted. We're doing our new segment, ReCap. We're recapping all the events of Jackie Robinson Day. For those who don't know, I was at the opening day at Fenway Park, which was a disappointment, to say the least. The Twins' rookie pitcher was dealing pretty hard.
wheeling and dealing.
And this is the hat I wore to the game because my friend had told me Mac Jones was supposed to throw out the first pitch. Unfortunately, it was Mo Vaughn. And I got a couple cool little well, I didn't buy them at the game, but just some interesting memories. Like they did a video tribute to Remy, who those of you don't know was the Red Sox announcer that passed away. Voice of my childhood. It kind of brought me back to tears. It made me think and look at this baseball and be happy that I have it.
Right.
A signed baseball by him.
That's a very good point.
And those old players, they actually gave a shit about their signature. Like you can actually kind of read his signature.
Well, I mean, what was he a player or just?
Yeah, he played second base for the Red Sox and Angels. Or Angels, Red Sox, and I think he went somewhere else in between.
All right. So for the people who don't watch our channel and who don't know, give us the rundown on Remy a little bit more.
So
because
he's a former player, and he was the voice of my childhood growing up watching the Red Sox. Him and Dawn back and forth off each other. Remy was just such an energetic person. There's so many calls and so many little things he did. Like he had the little scene of him doing the air guitar in the Destin previews.
Yeah.
Going, you could tell he loved his job and he loved the people around him. And the infamous pizza incident, when the person was going for the foul ball and they caught the foul ball. So someone threw a slice of pizza at the person. And he goes, "Here comes the pizza." But unfortunately, didn't work out for the Sox favor. Blow game Barnes came in the ninth inning. They were down 2 runs. He loaded them up, and the Twins just capitalized on it and took some runs in. And it just got away from 8-4 was the final. And moot point that I was kind of pissed off about. So if you've never been to opening day, they have special pins for opening day. But because of the lockout, this was this year's opening day pin. It says Tampa Bay, but they opened up against the Minnesota Twins. For those who don't know, they probably couldn't get the pin produced and brought over here in time after these were already ordered. But they did discount them slightly, and there's probably still a F ton of them at Fenway Park. So it's kind of cool, just like having a band patch, having a band pin, in a way.
Oh yeah, a couple of years you can sell them for opening day that never happened.
Just like how that lids collection, everybody talks about the opening day hats.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't know if we do that the same way, but maybe. I don't think it's as tough as the Wahoo with the Jackie patch per se.
There's some super rare caps. If you get into the minor league stuff, you can get into super rare caps. So today was Jackie Robinson's debut. This was another lids drop from a while back, right before all the COVID-ish. Thank you, Jackie.
That was 2 springs ago. Yeah.
It was right before COVID. All the stores shut down. These were all locked up in all those stores that were shut down in those malls.
Yep.
And they didn't ever release these online. You had to get them in store. So you had to get them regional assist. Huge shout out to Michael Villanueva. He was the one that got me this one because I wanted the LA one, the Dodger one. With that
There you go.
Jackie patch. And this year was the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson's debut. So I wanted to see some cool fitteds, but probably because of production issues, they probably couldn't get them out in time.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be something on the next wave. You know how they always do it like the year after. So I wouldn't be surprised if next year.
Another dope lids hat. It's a ticket stub hats. I don't know if you remember these from way back.
The stubs, yep.
This is the Jackie Robinson one. Black UV, but they satin liner.
Those get warm.
No, it's just like nice fit. I got on a Duke Schneider. I don't have a Jackie Robinson jersey, but I have a Duke Schneider Brooklyn jersey. which is like
Very good.
the 40s.
Like Abbott's.
Hmm?
Abbott's.
No, Mitchell and Ness, old school Mitchell and Ness, Musa. You can tell by the well, not old school, but you can tell by the tagging on here that it's newer, so it had to have been done after Peter Carabillo sold the company. The older Mitchell and Ness stuff, like pre-90s, has a different tag. I have an Ernie Banks with that kind of tag. If you guys wanted me to do some more jersey stuff, so I can tell you where we can make some videos on stuff like that, just let us know in the comments down below. And I got some cool Jackie cards to show off. They're both from that insert set from last year. It's the Mojo Chrome and the Plain.
Yeah,
There's two
those are from different, I believe. One will say like 86B, and that it goes like 86 ABC, but instead of going the papers all say 86B, and then the chromes all say they start 86B, then they go C, then they go
BC. But still, dope player. Jackie Robinson was a trending player. He opened the doors to so many different players like Vlad Guerrero. We wouldn't have all these guys like Barry Larkin, Ken Griffey Jr. So many guys you wouldn't see like in the majors. It's just crazy to think about. And then this was a pickup from last year when you were at the Jays game. Was the team issued Jackie Robinson patch. I feel that this patch needs to be like reworked in some type of way because they release the same patch every year.
Well, there is one extremely crucial detail to that patch that is not on my hat, that is on your hat. And it's the Jays numbers.
Yeah, this one was also team issued. You see that little barcode underneath?
Yep.
That's the cool thing. And it's Musa. For those newer collectors, those Bangladeshis always have those high crowns. The Musas are where it's at, the Chinas, because the crowns fit a little bit better. I can rock these flat. The newer ones, I have to curve them for them to fit decent.
We'll get there. I think we'll get there. This is a little tight, but I don't know.
Miguel Correa is 6 hits or 5 hits.
You don't have a jersey for this? Pause. You don't have a jersey for this? I like that.
I do not have a Tiger jersey yet.
Okay. I had to ask.
I've been wanting to get one. Miguel, if I was going to get a Miguel Cabrera, I'd probably get his Marlins jersey in the black.
Yeah. So he played with like the D train back in 01, right? Or 04?
2003 was his rookie year.
Yeah.
When they beat the Yankees in the World Series, he was a left fielder. And the scouting report on him was, won't be a long-term player, subpar fielder, decent hitter. For 20 years later, and he's still in the league. He's not as progressive as a hitter as he used to be, but Triple Crown winner, great player. If you want to learn more about him, we did a Miggy trivia video way back. We're going to link it down below in the comments. Pretty cool thing, and I have a card to show for that.
That is the Jackie card, yep.
Miguel Cabrera, Jackie Robinson card. And cool thing also with the Tigers is Spencer Torkelson, who's going to be a very key rookie in Series 2 this year, and another home run to give the Tigers the win against the Royals. And a lot of people called me crazy for saying that the Tigers are going to make a playoff run, but they're just gelling. If they can do this throughout the season and just eke out these little wins, they might be able to sneak in that second wild card spot.
I think Badu's card will. I'm not sure if it's in this set or the next set.
I got a couple of his minor league ones.
No, Badu is. I think he's going to be in Series 2.
And I was going to switch to Combo Wombo because I want to talk about the Angels game.
You're going to have Torques, Bobby Wood Jr., Dylan Dingler, maybe at some point. He's going to be the catcher for the Tigers. He's basically the next Miggy, but player style. You got a lot of these like hybrid guys where they play first, outfield, and catcher. So, I mean, you got your Mountcastles, your Carlsons.
And, what do you think of when you see 27 on an Angels jersey?
Vlad Guerrero.
I was hoping because it is a Guerrero Senior, and another guy that was like trend setting and getting like because of Jackie Robinson was able to come over here and play.
I know what you wanted me to say, and it's Mike Trout, because I did a video when I was sorting the cards, but I'm not sure if I posted it or not, because I was just like fucking. You could hear like the heat in my basement every time it turned on. So every time I went to tape, it would just, you would hear like the hot water unit, and then all the vents just started, and I was like, whoa, what's going on down here? So
yeah,
but
the Angels
but Trout is card number 27. That's my point. And then card number 99 is Aaron Judge, not Verdugo. So I think somebody's a Yankees fan and not.
Well, number one is Shohei Ohtani this year.
Yeah, I found that interesting because he doesn't wear number one.
He was the unanimous MVP in the AL.
Although Tatis was card number one last year, so the cover guy gets card number one. I can see that, but.
So speaking of the Angels game, they intentionally walked Seager. They were playing the Rangers, and Madden decided to intentionally walk Seager with the bases loaded, and they ended up winning because of Walsh and Mike Trout had both had a big monster game. Walsh had a 2-run jack that gave them the lead, and they were able to hang on and win in the end.
That's
AL West is fairly up for grabs, I would say. I'd say the favorites are the Astros, but with the players the Angels have, if they can start to gel, and try to build on their pitching, I could see them maybe making a playoff spot. It's pretty interesting. The AL is wide open. As far as the NL, I would say it's still probably favored between the Braves and the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Maybe the Cardinals might make some noise, but
they made some noise today, and I knew I was going to get a ton of shit for it because you get a 5-1 win on 4-1-4 day. You know, you got to take it back a little bit. So
that club, Merlot.
Yeah, it's just kind of like that. So overall,
lots of crazy games today. Like, I'm so glad Sutter wasn't hurt. He dove in to try to catch a ball and he took a nasty fall. I'm glad he was able to get up on his own power, although they had to take him out of the game, but it was already out of hand, so it didn't really matter.
I didn't see that, but I'm gonna be looking after the game or after our little episode here. Excuse me. I am doing a segment over on TikTok called Board Commentator, where I'm just kind of looking at clips and just kind of whatever comes to my mind, I'm just kind of saying. And a couple people have told me that it sounds pretty funny. So if you want to head over to my TikTok, I'm going to throw that in the description.
Yeah, right. I wanted to suggest one. There was a highlight in the 8th inning at the Red Sox game where Jackie Bradley got trucked by the second baseman after going into second base. Like,
yeah,
trucked. I haven't been able to find it yet, but when I do,
I can tell you who did it already, and I saw his tweet came through. And he's pretty much one of my main inspirations, and it's John Boy. He's got a slightly higher pitched voice, I think, than me. He has a little more like warm, welcoming voice. Whereas if I'm just explaining shit for a while to somebody that doesn't know what's going on, I can see where I might sound bored. But I have fun with it, and I think you should also get involved with it too, TJ.
Yeah, Boston fans can always rejoice when the Yankees have a meltdown and lose. 11th inning, bases loaded, Chapman's in, full count, Chapman walks him. So I got the O's hat.
The Blueberry
from Hat Club with the White Guts.
Blueberry OG White Guts Hat Club. Hat Club. Woo, woo, woo.
But Chapman's done this before. In 2017 with the Red Sox, Andrew Benintendi was able to force a walk with the bases loaded to walk off the game. That's probably one of the worst ways to walk off a game, to draw a walk.
You saw
As
the
a pitcher.
You saw the
As a
D
pitcher.
Strange Gordon, right? Where who did he hit?
He hit Travis Darno. That game was already out of hand, but it was like a 50-mile-an-hour, like. And
I don't think it was 50. It was like my little cousin throwing a ball to me, like 20.
No, it said on the radar gun it was like 54, but it probably barely hurt him.
Yeah, but all right. Not saying they do this, but when a cop has his radar gun out and he bangs it on his mirror and said that you were going 90. I mean, you don't think those guys do it too, right?
Yeah, but I'm sure it was pretty funny. He did a little acting job. The Braves were up big in that game, so he did a little acting. He went right down, like, oh, he fainted. It was pretty funny.
I'm gonna give you a hot take on how that Orioles game should have gone, and this is from a neutral perspective on how the Yankees should pitch with Chapman in. One. What else do you need? You don't need a pitch comp. I don't care what fucking park you're in. You got a guy that throws 104 and the end of the Orioles lineup in one, maybe two, maybe one.
Mullins kept fouling him off, so
yeah, but
he did walk him on a fastball. It was high. It was high.
He likes that high fastball, but that's when he uses that slider. He has he's got that 12-6 slider curveball.
2016 with the Cubs, he hasn't been the same player. They kind of rode him real hard, and he hasn't been the same caliber closer since.
See, King, when he pitched the other day, he was lights out. But I mean,
the Twins had Melio Pangan, who they recently got in a trade for. Who did the Padres get in that trade? Oh, they got Taylor Rogers.
Yeah, the two Rogers.
Paddock. But,
if you have a Chapman or a Jordan Hicks or this new kid on the Reds, and you have a good old number one that goes over 100 miles an hour, what are you doing? If you
it was
can't
probably
hear
the loudest I've ever heard Camden Yards. As
yeah,
a Red Sox fan, the stadium wasn't very full, but it sounded like a playoff atmosphere. Camden Yards is a gorgeous park. It's a shame that their team's
you had to have watched the Yankees game the other day against the Blue Jays. You were watching it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when the pitcher kept doing this, right?
Yeah, he couldn't hear.
What did he do? He pulled out the card that had the signs on it and then proceeded to go like this, like they used to do. You can't tell me that just because a pitcher can't read the signs or hear the signs that he can't go back to the old way, because he's using either a similar catcher or they got to know something, like they have to know a sequence.
Well, right now it's optional, so some teams aren't. The Red Sox aren't using the pitch com.
I'm not going to say Boston scandal insert here, but I am going to say
maybe that's why the Twins teed off on him. Carlos Correa was reading some signs.
That's
what
I'm thinking.
Carlos Correa had his infamous return to Boston since the what time is it? When he pimped his home run with the Astros in the ALCS. And he sent us packing.
I don't know. I'm a little heated about the debacle about can a pitcher.
Well, they recently came out and said that they're trying to unseal those documents about the Yankees stealing signs the same year. Every team was doing it. Every team's been doing it for years.
Every team's been doing it since baseball started. And I think that to some level, even if a pitcher has a no-no or something, like, it's part of the integrity of the game. Like, there's a video from last year where Yastrzemski was on second and he just tapped his head one time and the pitcher turned around and told him to shut the fuck up. So
Well, those old heads back in the day, if they thought you were stealing signs, you were getting one right to the forehead.
or yeah, like
You can't
it,
do that nowadays because guys throw like 101 up 95 plus. If you hit someone in the head, they're going to be like when John Carlos Stanton got hit in the head a few years ago, when he was with the Marlins.
I remember that.
That's why everybody wears those C guards now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the glass jawbreaker. Yeah. But it's also Nolan Ryan was talking to Satchel Paige. I think I sent you guys this clip. And Satchel Paige asked Nolan Ryan what the most effective pitch in baseball is. And he said the fastball. And Satchel Paige returned with, no, it's the bow tie.
Well, if you look at the way those guys pitched, they pitched high and inside, try to back you off the plate. Like there's guys like Anthony Rizzo who crowd in. They wouldn't be able to do that back in the day because they'd be getting hit left and right. They probably break a bone.
Yeah, especially like this bone right here, 11 pounds of pressure. That's not much with 100-mile-an-hour fastball coming at you. Good luck.
It's just crazy to think about like all this stuff's coming back up again. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this pitching because they need to reevaluate and try to see what they can do. Well, I don't think is the answer. I think it's guys got to learn how to. I think the whole fundamental with these analytics and stuff needs to be softened up a little bit. It doesn't make sense to ban the shift.
Guys I wouldn't ban the shift either. Just yesterday, I saw a guy standing on the grass. He was testing the umpire to see if he could really.
That doesn't the banning of the shift doesn't start till next year. So you can still shift this year.
See, it gets too like testy. If you're gonna say that it has to come into play, you better just start it, and you got to start.
Well, they implement it in the minors first. That's what they usually do with these new rules. Like we're going to see a pitch clock too in the next coming years, and the next year too.
I don't like that.
With no runners on base, they want to get these games under around 3 hours, because the average person can't watch a 4 or 5 hour long baseball game because they don't appreciate the intricacies of baseball. Speaking of another crazy highlight, Christian Pache, who everybody's calling a bust, is raking in Oakland. He had the inside the Parker. This last weekend. Oakland seems like a pretty good ballpark for him with his speed. If he gets by an outfielder, he has a speed where he can take it home. Kind of like Ricky Henderson in a way.
He was raking. I wouldn't call him a Henderson yet. I would probably put him. Like he's
if he can get some more discipline at the plate and draw some more walks, it'll be a big deal.
I mean, he's young and wild. He's got speed.
Unfortunately,
how much
who spent goose egg in free agency, so it won't matter much because they're still probably going to finish dead last in the AL West.
All right, but hypothetically, hear me out. Kyler Murray signs. What if Kyler Murray signs to a 30 a year or some shit deal and just goes to the A's, becomes a shortstop or second baseman, because that's where he's going to go, and becomes their leadoff hitter? Then you have speed. So the fact that Kyler Murray is still scrubbed off of the Cardinals' Instagram, and he was drafted by Oakland, and they still retain his rights, I mean, that kind of gives me some hope. And I don't have a lot of it for him, but I mean, Russell Wilson at least participated in Yankees training camp, but I would have liked to see him with the Mariners, especially with how they're doing this year so far. If they have spring training next year, Rockies training camp, bring Russ in, Just kind of use these guys in other ways.
Well,
These dual
speaking of
sport athletes.
cool athletes, Tom Brady was the last player. Is the last player drafted by the Expos. He was drafted by the Expos as a catcher out of high school.
1995.
And
Right
there's
after
a
the World
famous
Series.
there's a famous video of him at Fenway in 2004 after they won the World Series and the Patriots had won the Super Bowl that season, taking batting practice at Fenway Park. And he was hitting some moonshots like off the monster. It's crazy to think how some of these athletes chose different paths. We'll never. The ultimate athlete, I would say, was Bo Jackson in a way because he was able to play two sports at once. You'll never see that in modern day.
Dion.
Deion Sanders too, but see, Sanders wasn't that great of a baseball player.
But we still have this great quote by the Giants front office and Dion from that year. They handed Dion this book of like a 700 question SAT booklet, and he asked the team, what pick do you have in the first round? And they said the 21st. And he said, oh, don't worry, I won't be around that long. Here you
It
go.
was Bill Belichick and Parcells said, we want to quiz you on our playbook. Here's our playbook. Study it. He goes, I won't be around. And if I am, I'm not going to you.
Isn't that crazy though? Like to think that, and then you have like your Baker Mayfields and Lamar Jacksons. Well, not so much Baker Mayfield, but Lamar Jackson, who's begging to get, I meant Johnny Manziel, to beg to get picked. And all that was guaranteed to Johnny Manziel was a rookie contract guarantee because he was a first round pick. Now Lamar Jackson, you're guaranteeing him $40 million. And
so Lamar Jackson was the first round draft pick. He was the first pick in the second round. He fell. The Patriots had an opportunity to draft him, but we drafted that wide receiver that sucks.
Number one. Yeah.
The one that wants out. I forget his name. Can't think of it off the top of my head. Harris?
He's D2. I wanted to call him Harris, but I'm not even sure. He won number 1 in 14 or something. But,
no, but interesting how, in hindsight, you can look at these drafts and go, well, he didn't want to go to New England because Belichick wanted to convert him over to a wide receiver a little bit.
I don't know. Just, it's funny because of what I grew up with in college football and the whole MAC conference. It was fucking stacked. I mean, with Edelman, Byron Leftwich, Ben Roethlisberger, I saw a different top tier quarterback every single week at all of our games. And then we always had one game against Penn State or fucking Pittsburgh or who you insert X team here, and they whipped us 70 something or 80 something to 0, maybe 3 if we were lucky, 3.
Well, those bigger schools pay those smaller schools in college to play them.
But the only point that I'm trying to kind of cross-reference or integrate into the conversation is that, you know, I'm starting to think that some football players do want to play baseball. And
well, all the money is guaranteed. Once you sign an MLB contract, if you crack the majors, all that money is yours. Well, with football, it's only guaranteed after that rookie deal. You got to prove what you're worth. It's kind of sad because you see all these guys get hurt and then they never amount to anything. There's an interesting documentary on by HBO a couple years ago. It was called Playing High. They were talking about offensive linemen. They pumped them full of drugs, and when their bodies started to degrade after the 4th or 5th year, because they're playing hurt, they're playing on opioids. And
and all sorts of stuff. That's how
No, but these guys are so banged up that when they get released, they lose their health insurance. They don't make the service time to get the pension with the NFL. They're basically fucked.
There was one guy. Oh, now it's slipping me. I was listening to WGR, and one guy had become an addict or something, and then he got clean, and now he's like 60 something years old. And they retired him or something into the Hall of Fame so he could get his health insurance back.
Well, that's like how the MLB, the Atlanta Braves signed Satchel Paige at like 60 something years old to be a pitcher so that he could get an MLB pension.
Hmm.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. I just I don't know, man. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but most of my thoughts today have really been kind of inked on Kyler Murray to play for Oakland, actually, and
Well,
actually,
they released so much garbage about him. The Cardinals trying to make it so they didn't have to pay him a lot of money about how he's toxic in the locker room.
why
That's
not?
not the way any successful run organization like the Patriots. You look at the Patriots over their 20-year span. Belichick never threw a player under the bus. Belichick said, "We're on to Cincinnati. We're on to this." He goes,
Oh yeah,
but you have guys like Arians, coaches that just go after, like they try to scapegoat. Tomlin was on a little bit notorious for that too.
I mean, you have me as a division rival who has seen your team's interviews and my team's interviews, and I can't say a bad thing about Belichick when he would get asked a question. He's like, "We're going to Buffalo. We're going to Miami," and I'm like, "Whatever, man. We expected that."
The only thing with Belichick that rubs a lot of people wrong, he gets a little arrogant after a win. That game me and you went to, he said it was only 3 passes. He goes, "Well, when we play them next week, we have our whole passing playbook." Well, it didn't work out.
Yeah, just I like the smart ass comments. It's kind of like a legacy though, where those comments are going to be the things that they remembered on top of the other shit that he did. But
Who
like,
was the Colts coach that was so famous for playoffs? What do you mean playoffs?
oh, Dungy.
No, it wasn't Dungy. It was a white guy before Dungy.
Oh,
Because they had Peyton Manning, and their excuse was that they had a team,
yeah.
but they were losing these close games. They still need to build around Manning.
Do it.
They were talking about
I
playoffs.
know what you're talking about. Yeah, but like, it's just these guys. They're so talented. They can play the game so well.
Other guys like so professional, like Andy Reid's another example. He doesn't throw his players under the bus. He just says, "We didn't play our best game, and we're on to next week," because we always
Okay,
have
but
things to
like,
work on.
what about the guys that are so talented to play another sport, such as, oh, I don't know, Jameis Winston, who had a no baseball clause in his contract, and now he's not even the starting quarterback for the Saints.
Cam Newton was a D1 basketball player. He went real far in the NCAA tournament with Alabama, I believe. Auburn. He carried them to like a Final Four run. What if he went to the NBA rather than focusing on football and getting drafted by the Panthers? He could still be in the NBA in some role player way. Because there's lots of guys that hang around, like Derrick Rose, for example. MVP caliber players, first couple years, bad injury. He's still in the league. He's still making money.
There was a Celtics guy or something that just come back too. Isaiah Thomas. He's like 30 now.
He's been on and off. He's had injury bug. He hasn't been the same caliber player. It was with him, I believe it was Brad Stevens' system that made him better because they were able to mask his defensive liability. Isaiah Thomas is a complete defensive liability. Unless you can scheme around that, he's a great scorer.
But that
man.
just shows you that the money and fame got to his head, and he was still able to do all the dumb shit
Boston
that he
kind of
wanted
did
to do.
dirty. Boston did Isaiah Thomas pretty dirty. We shipped him out to Cleveland to get Kyrie Irving to try to make the big three with Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving, and Al Horford.
Yep.
And little do we know, we had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yep.
And I'm super excited for that Nets series. And we're going to do a video on the NBA playoffs. We're going to do a video on the NHL playoffs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. I'm ready.
So yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Like I said, super fun. We want to tease a little bit of that. Kyrie's kind of a wacky guy, if you guys didn't know, the third eye and all that.
You know, I mean, if the world was flat, I believe that cats would have pushed everything off it by now.
So this is how sold most Boston people were.
Did you hear me? Oh, you got fours.
Yeah, I got these after we got him. They had the little evil eye on the back. Little did I know they're really narrow, so I can't fit my foot in these. So I've only worn them a couple times. They're size 11s.
We might have to add those to the eBay package.
No, but it was pretty cool. Just like to think about, like everyone in Boston thought like Gordon Hayward and them are going to be like next big three, like Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen. Blew up in our face. Kyrie
Yep.
and them were laughing at us. It was just pretty interesting.
Did you hear my joke?
No.
I said, I truly believe if the earth was flat, that cats would have pushed everything off it by now.
That sounds perfect.
So
yeah,
fuck. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, looks like it's probably bedtime for this episode. We're
just having fun, folks. We like to talk about sports. We will watch a lot of different sports. We want to get other people involved. If you want to come on the show, just message either North Shore Fitteds or Spidey J19, and we'll try to work out a time where we can. 18.
Yeah, if you guys want to come on the show though and bash heads with us, tell us the topic. Let us know.
I'd love to see a Nets fan come on for the at the
dude.
NBA.
Dude, I have the inmate for you, but unfortunately you can't come on the show. We had this. All right, I won't use names.
We'll save it for.
I won't use names, but I'm just gonna tell this.
NBA episode. How about
no,
that?
No, I gotta tell this now because it's already out there. So this guy was arguing that they were playing the Knicks and they went 30 for 45 from the line. And the one guy was arguing that they could have won the game from the line because they lost by 7. And the other guy goes, well, that's not the only thing that stopped them from winning the game. And I was like, okay, list your shit. And I'm just trying to be mediator, just like, cool, like I watched the game too. So obviously I have an opinion. And I was like, is it fair to say you just watched Stephen A? Like, and you might watch a different guy, and this guy goes, I don't even watch them fools. And this guy's like, I think you just wanted to argue. And this guy got so butthurt that his team was like 25% from free throws. So I got Celtics in 5.
I'd say Celtics in 6 because I think we're gonna lose one of the ones in Brooklyn, but I think we're gonna take it at home. I think Kyrie's not gonna be able to play at the Garden. I think it's gonna get to him. It did get to him the last time he played.
Cool. So there you have it. We're getting a little off topic and kind of like ponging our topics around here, but obviously everybody knows we like to talk sports all the time. So as per usual, this was our Jackie Robinson recap. We tried to give you a little bit of the positives, some of the wacky moments throughout the day. He had fun at Fenway today, and that's all we got today. So peace, love, and caps.